Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. Today I have some more quite disturbing and shocking news for you from Angela Merkel's health minister. Yes, Jens Spahn, the guy who is responsible for the federal government's response to this so-called pandemic that we are dealing with at the moment. Numbers are going up again. People who have been tested positive, 4,000 yesterday in Germany, I guess. That's a pretty huge increase. I will have to do some research on that, if that is because of increased testing or because it's getting colder now. As you know, the flu also comes in the cold season. There are reasons for that. I don't know. I will have to dig deeper into that. But that's not what today's video is about. This guy is unbelievable. So in former videos, I reported quite a bit about him recently, and I will go over that in really brief form, I hope, once again, and then I will tell you what came to light now again. It is once again lots of damage for the German taxpayer, and it is also morally and maybe even legally not okay what was going down there. Okay, but before we get into the details, I want to thank my supporters and my subscribers. Like, share and subscribe, pass these videos on, share them if you want to or if you can. And if you want to support my work, you can do so directly via PayPal or via Patreon or Subscribestar. Links in the description down below. Every contribution, every bit of help is greatly appreciated. All right, so in my recent videos, I told you already that he not only bought a ridiculously expensive large mansion in Berlin, a luxurious villa, he also went with his lawyers after the media, some of them newspapers or news portals, some of them individual YouTubers and social media people actually, and he intimidated them, he threatened them that they should delete their videos, that they shouldn't talk about that stuff anymore. Absolutely ridiculous. In the meantime, he has confirmed the price that I am not allowed to talk about, of course. But once again, this is not illegal. It's just weird. As I said, in a time where so many people are losing their jobs because of this guy, actually, because of his mismanagement, yes, because he donated, or Germany donated, a lot of protective gear to China and other countries, and then we didn't have any, and then this whole mask fiasco where they were then led to tell the people, oh, masks, you don't need masks, and then a couple of weeks later, everyone has to wear a mask. Okay, so that was a disaster, absolutely reprehensible. Now, many people have lost their jobs because of lockdowns, and they're just banned. The federal government is telling them not to work, or the state governments. Absolutely crazy. And this guy buys a luxurious villa for millions of euros. And I also told you that when they were hard pressed to get as many masks and goggles and gloves and what you can imagine, this protective gear in no time, he also he said that everybody who can supply these things to certain conditions, we will buy them. So that was kind of a carte blanche he gave to the industry, and a lot of them delivered, and they're still waiting for their money. And they will sue the federal government now, which again is a cost that has to be, forked over by the German taxpayer, of course. Absolute scandalous mismanagement. So these were the things I reported on. I hope I didn't forget anything, just to bring you up to speed again if you don't watch all my videos. But now, what is new? So, two things actually I want to talk about. First of all, I didn't know that before. It was known before, but I just, I must have missed that fact. And that is, the question was, how did he finance this mansion in Berlin? How did he finance that? Even though he makes good money, the German taxpayer gives him a lot of income. Yeah, he's kind of a welfare case, if you know what I mean. He lives from the redistribution of income. That is his source of income, of course, and he makes good money with that. And as a public servant, yeah. So how did he finance that though? And it turns out that he took a loan from a credit union in where he was actually for many years a member of the board, is how you call that, Verwaltungsrat. I would say it's kind of an administrative board. And he was a member of that. So he was involved in that credit union, and now they gave him a huge loan, right? And I don't even want to know actually what the conditions were, if that was typical or if he got a sweet special deal because he's an old friend of theirs. So that's a spicy detail actually. Reprehensible, of course, but that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is, and this is the main point I want to make today, the main bit of news about Jens Spahn, this horrible minister in Angela Merkel's cabinet. When there was the time, that they needed to order all these masks, not only did he give a carte blanche to people, basically telling them to deliver whatever they can find and then not paying them, no. Also the distribution of these masks and of all this protective gear was the job of distributing these things then was given to a company without without getting several quotes from competitors. Just one company was approached. He didn't talk to any other companies. He didn't, and this is usual, when you have a public job, like you build a building, you build a road, you have some anything that the public hand, the state, is building or doing or whatever. Even if they hire consultants or something, you cannot just ask someone and then give them the job. You must ask at least 3 or even more, and there is a competition, right? And they all have to give them their pitch and their conditions, what they deliver and what the price is, and they mustn't know what the other company was suggesting, right? This is illegal if they would talk to each other and then make their pitch. This is against the law. This is absolutely illegal practice. But it was even worse. He only approached one company, not 3, not 4, one. And without negotiations, he just gave them the job. And here comes the kicker now. That is a company that is located in his home district. Yes, he is a member of parliament also, and he has a district that he represents in parliament. And this company comes from his home district, and that is absolutely reprehensible. This is against all practices. You can't do this. And you can't say, oh, yeah, but we were in a hurry. We were in a hurry because you donated all our stash, okay? And then you give the job to a buddy from your home district. That is absolutely beyond the pale. I can't even find words for this level of corruption, and it's just reprehensible. I can't find other words. It disgusts me. And this is the Federal Republic of Germany. We always think of ourselves, oh, we're this clean country. We have good governance. Everything is so transparent. And in France and in Italy, everything is corrupt. And all these politicians with the industry and with the local politicians with local companies, they're all corrupt, and one hand feeds the other, and kind of that kind of mafia stuff. But this is Germany. This is freaking Germany, and we have the same kind of nonsense. And if the media would nail his balls to the wall, I wouldn't even say anything. I would say, okay, there are bad apples. But everybody knows this. This is in the news, but it's reported in a neutral tone. And nobody is making a fuss over it. There are some backbenchers of opposition parties who raise a question here or there, but there is no fuss about it. This is highly corrupt stuff. This is I mean, the thing with the credit union, okay, that's kind of a gray area. But this thing, this is definitely malpractice is a medical term, I think, and he has nothing to do with medicine. He's a banker. He is a health minister, but he has no idea of the health system. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, he was running a lobby firm. Yeah, maybe he knows that side of the business, but that's it. So, what I'm trying to say here, what shocks me the most, and by the way, I'm not surprised. Don't say in the comments again, oh, why are you surprised? I'm not surprised, I'm shocked. Of course, I know these things happen, but that the media is not calling him out in any way, that nobody calls for him to be fired by Merkel, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, and I think the point I want to make, the way I would frame this, if you want to use this word, I think we have imported so many people from other countries already, and we have changed the way our youth thinks about these things, that the culture of our own country has been altered to the point that we just accept these things now. I think 30 years ago that would have been a huge scandal, and not only the minister, but also some administrative workers, some people in the ministry, some high bureaucrats in the ministry who were involved with this deal. They would have been canned 30 years ago, 20 years ago even. I'm convinced of that. But nowadays, everyone shrugs their shoulders and, yeah, so what are we having for lunch? It's just nobody cares anymore if stuff like this happens, and this is outrageous. This hasn't been the case before, and it is just one more indication, I think, one more data point where you can say, okay, our country is becoming a third world country. Our country is becoming one of these banana republics. We're already there. It happened. It's done. And do you think that these new Germans or German plus or however you want to call these guests that we have that are here to stay for good, at least according to our government, according to what they are telling us, they have altered the culture in our country already. This is really the way I see it. Because our young people, they emulate already the culture of foreign countries. The way they talk. They don't talk German anymore. They talk German with a foreign accent these days. And I'm convinced that this has something to do with that. That the quote-unquote good old days in Germany, where this would have been a massive scandal and where he would have been fired over this, are over. Because our population is not the same anymore. People from very corrupt countries have been pumped into our country, and of course when they see that stuff they think, well, as long as he didn't kill anybody, it's kind of normal that they would give jobs to their wives and cousins and to their family, and and they would give jobs to people who helped them in the past. This is what politicians do, right? Yes, it is what politicians do, but when they were found out in the past, they had to go. They were fired over this stuff. Of course, they tried it, but we didn't let them get away with it if it was uncovered. That's the new thing. And this is because, this is what we heard when the Arab Spring was a thing, yeah? How this leader or this head of state in Tunisia, for example, how he was controlling the construction industry and the ports, and another part of the family was controlling the taxi business in the capital, and all that shady stuff where you would give family members and friends kind of monopoly positions or give them high positions in state-owned or partially state-owned corporations and stuff like that. This is normal for a third world banana republic country. It hasn't been normal in Germany. At least there were the fourth estate or the fourth power, meaning the media, they were calling at least the people out in the party that they don't like. There were conservative newspapers who called out when the Social Democrats did that, and there are leftist newspapers, of course, a lot, and they always went after the jobs of the centrist or conservative or liberal people when they did stuff like that. But now It just happens and nobody cares. And this is the health minister, Angela Merkel, said it's good, so it's good. And all kinds of, laws and decency and common practice and good practice, all this stuff is thrown out of the window because, hey, it's a crisis, hey, it's a special situation. This is ridiculous. Germany is not Germany anymore. If you needed more proof, and maybe this is an area in which not a lot of people would have expected me to make that point. There are more crass and more tabloid level examples. When these, like including violence, very emotional stories and stuff like that. But here, I think this is an excellent example. That it's so mundane, right? Like how he financed his house, or who he gave a public job to, like the distribution of this protective gear, this medical equipment. Who gets to distribute that? This assignment was given to a company in his home district, and there was no call for quotes or for submissions of other companies. Nobody gave a pitch or something, just this one company. Absolutely ridiculous. And I just wonder, how many scandals do we still have to uncover or to hear about from this man? This is absolutely insufferable that this guy is still in the German government, that he is still a minister. So, okay, maybe I reacted a little bit too strong about this, but I think the case was made by me. I gave you the information of this guy, what he did. And, now you know. These are the people that Angela Merkel has in key positions in her government, and she thinks there is nothing wrong with that, because the taxpayers' money is there for the elite to play around with and to give to their friends, basically. Yeah. And by the way, all that medical gear that he got and that he hasn't paid for yet, what was done with it? Oh, it was donated to other countries, among other things. I mean, of course, the national stash was also restocked, and I don't know how many years it is kept there before it is given away for free or destroyed again. But a large part of this stuff that he procured now in this very shady way was in fact given for free to other countries. Yeah. And by the way, this company, this distribution company, not the procurement, that was billions, I think, but the the distribution of that material, that was, sources say, 130 million euros. Yeah. And there was no competition. They were just given 130 million euros and then, see what you can do, buddy. That is Germany in 2020, ladies and gentlemen. See you again soon, I hope, or check out my videos in the future. So long. Servus, Kameraden.